Welcome back to our channel, English with Ethan. We all wait for motivation to strike like lightning. But what if I told you success doesn't come from sparks? It comes from steady fire. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes. But discipline is a choice. And those who choose it every day, they win. This series is not just about feeling inspired. It's about building a life where you don't wait to feel ready. You just start. So now we begin. Lesson 1 that will teach you the truth behind long-term success. Lesson 1. Stop waiting for motivation. Start showing up. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is undefeated. Motivation is that energy you feel after watching a great video or reading a great quote. But it fades. Discipline is what you do when you don't feel like doing anything at all. Let's understand this with a simple truth. The world is run by people who show up, even when they don't feel like it. Imagine this. You set a goal to wake up at 5 a.m. to work on your dream. Maybe writing, learning English, or building a business. Day 1. You feel pumped. You wake up. Day 2. You're still excited. Day 3. You're tired. No motivation. Most people stop here. But winners? They wake up anyway. Why? Because they've made a decision. They've trained their body and mind to show up. Not because of how they feel, but because of who they want to become. Discipline builds identity. Each time you take action without motivation, you cast a vote for your future self. Every time you go to the gym even when you're tired. Study for 20 minutes even when you're bored. Practice speaking even when you feel shy. You are telling your brain, "This is who I am. I don't need to feel it, I just do it." This is how champions are made. How to practice this lesson. 1. Commit to tiny actions. You don't need to do it all. Just start. 1 push-up, 1 paragraph, 1 minute of English listening. 2. Use triggers. Link your habit to something you already do. Example. After brushing your teeth, review 5 English words. 3. Track it, don't skip it. Even on your worst days, do something small. Don't break the chain. If you're always waiting for motivation, you'll never start. But if you build discipline, you'll never stop. Success is not about feeling ready. It's about showing up ready or not. Lesson 2. The myth of motivation. Why it fails and what to do instead. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They think, "I'll start studying when I feel inspired," or "I'll hit the gym when I feel pumped." But here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it shines. If your progress depends on how motivated you feel, your growth will be inconsistent, unstable, and weak. That's why successful people don't depend on motivation. They build discipline. What happens when you wait for motivation? Let's say you want to learn English or build a new habit. One day you feel super motivated. You study for 2 hours. The next day, you're tired. So you skip it. Then a few more days go by. Now you feel guilty. Slowly, your motivation fades. You stop completely. Sound familiar? This is how most people live, driven by feelings, not by discipline. They confuse excitement with commitment. They want quick results, but without consistency, their dreams remain dreams. Discipline is a muscle, not a mood. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't ask you, "Are you tired?" It simply says, "Do it anyway." Motivation says, "Do it when you feel like it." Discipline says, "Do it even when you don't feel like it." Discipline is a decision, a promise you make to yourself and keep. And every time you stick to your habit, Even when it's hard, your brain becomes stronger. Your confidence grows. You begin to respect yourself. Neuroscience behind discipline. Your brain loves comfort. It tries to avoid pain and chase pleasure. That's why motivation feels nice. It gives you a dopamine rush. But discipline rewires your brain differently. When you do hard things repeatedly, even when they're boring or tough, your prefrontal cortex becomes stronger. This is the part of your brain responsible for self-control, planning, and long-term thinking. Disciplined people literally think differently. They don't give in to every emotion. They don't chase pleasure. They build a solid system, and they follow it. Replace motivation with a system. Here's the secret. Don't trust your emotions. Trust your system. Let's say your goal is to read one book a week. Don't wait until you feel like reading. Instead, say, I will read 20 pages every morning at 7 a.m. I will listen to one English podcast during my walk. That's a system. It's not emotional. It's clear, actionable, and repeatable. Real-life example, Jocko Willink. Jocko Willink is a former Navy SEAL. He wakes up every day at 4:30 a.m., not because he loves it, but because he's trained to do what needs to be done. He says, discipline equals freedom. That means, when you are disciplined with your habits, you gain freedom in life. Freedom from regret, freedom from guilt, freedom from laziness. Practical tips to build discipline, not motivation. 1. Start small. Begin with 5 minutes a day. It's better to be consistent with less than inconsistent with more. 2. Set a non-negotiable time. Attach your habit to a specific time, like brushing your teeth. 3. Track it. Use a calendar and mark every day you complete the habit. Don't break the chain. 4. Reward effort, not results. Focus on the process, not just the outcome. Remove choice. Don't ask, should I do it? Just do it. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. That's the difference between average people and great people. Motivation may start the engine, but discipline drives the journey. Don't wait to feel ready. Act. Building repeat. That's how you grow. Lesson 3. The invisible power of microdiscipline. We often believe that success comes from big changes, huge leaps, massive effort, or rare moments of genius. But the truth is, it's the small, nearly invisible choices we make every single day that build a powerful, unstoppable life. Microdiscipline means doing the tiny tasks that nobody sees, the ones that don't bring instant results. But over time, they shape your destiny. Discipline is not just about doing the hard things. It's about doing the small things even when they feel pointless. This lesson will teach you how microdiscipline creates a compound effect that motivation never can. 1. What is microdiscipline? Microdiscipline is the practice of consistently following small, simple habits, even when no one is watching. Waking up 10 minutes earlier to stretch, writing one sentence daily, choosing water instead of soda, reading one paragraph of a book instead of scrolling endlessly. These actions seem too small to matter. But when done daily, they build identity, confidence, and progress. Just like a drop of water can carve a canyon over time, microdiscipline can reshape your brain, character, and future. 2. Why motivation fails for small tasks. Motivation is designed for excitement. It loves big goals, sudden energy bursts, and dramatic stories. It's not interested in subtle wins. That's why motivation fades when the results are invisible. Microdiscipline, on the other hand, doesn't care how you feel. It's quiet, steady, unseen. It knows that brushing your teeth twice a day doesn't feel heroic, but it keeps you healthy for life. That's the difference. 3. Real-life example, the 1% rule. Imagine improving just 1% each day. Read one more page, do one extra push-up, sleep 1 minute earlier. After a week, that's only a 7% gain. But after 1 year, you'll be 37 times better. That's the math of microdiscipline. A person who writes 50 words daily may not feel like a writer, but in 6 months, they have a book. That's how microdiscipline beats the need for loud, emotional motivation. 4. Train your brain to respect small wins. The brain is trained by repetition, not inspiration. When you consistently show up for small tasks, your brain learns one powerful message. You are reliable. And that is the root of self-belief. When your brain knows that you'll do what you said, even if it's small, it stops waiting for motivation. It starts obeying your discipline. Over time, your identity shifts. You become a person who gets things done. 5. Turn boring into powerful. Microdiscipline is boring. It's not Instagram-worthy. But here's the secret. Boring is powerful. The most successful people don't rely on emotions to act. They just do what needs to be done, no matter how dull. The student who rewrites their notes daily will remember more than the one who studies for 10 hours once. The athlete who stretches 5 minutes a day avoids injury better than one who trains hard but ignores recovery. That's the magic of tiny habits. 6. Protect your microdiscipline. Never underestimate the power of small, bad habits. Just like microdiscipline builds success, micro-laziness builds regret. Skipping the gym once turns into a week. Procrastinating today becomes your routine. That's why you must protect your microdiscipline like treasure. Make your small habits non-negotiable. Treat them as sacred, even if they take only 2 minutes. They are your future in disguise. 7th key takeaway. Big success doesn't come from big emotions. It comes from small disciplines, done daily. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Let your microdiscipline guide your day. Remember, small hinges open big doors. Lesson 4. Discipline builds unbreakable confidence. Let's begin with a simple truth. When you keep promises to yourself, your confidence grows. Not because someone praised you, not because the world noticed you, but because you noticed yourself. You didn't quit. You didn't make excuses. You didn't need motivation. You just did the work. That's the real magic of discipline. It silently builds confidence while motivation only creates noise. The confidence trap. Many people wait to feel confident before they take action. They say things like, "Once I feel ready, I'll start. I'm just waiting for the right moment. When I feel more confident, I'll take the step." But here's the truth. Confidence is not a starting point. It is a result. If you keep waiting to feel confident before doing the work, you'll wait your whole life. Confidence doesn't fall from the sky. It comes from daily action, even when you're scared, tired, or doubting yourself. And that's where discipline wins. Discipline tells you, do it anyway. Small wins equals big confidence. Every time you choose to follow your schedule, every time you complete a task when you didn't feel like it, every time you wake up early, study, read, train, or work, you tell your brain, I am strong. I can trust myself. This is the secret. Confidence is not about being loud. It's about being consistent. One small win each day creates unstoppable belief. Motivation says, I feel good today, let's go. Discipline says, even if I don't feel good, I'll still go. And guess what? The person with discipline always moves ahead. How to build confidence through discipline. 1. Set a small goal and complete it daily, not a huge one. Just a small task like journaling for 5 minutes, exercising for 15 minutes, or reading 5 pages. Do it every single day. 2. Track your progress. Use a calendar or notebook. When you see your efforts add up, you'll feel powerful. Your brain loves progress. 3. Say less, do more. Don't talk too much about what you're going to do. Just do it. Let your results speak. 4. Celebrate quietly. Confidence doesn't need applause. The real reward is how you feel about yourself. That inner pride is unshakable. Real-world example. Think of athletes, soldiers, top performers. They don't rely on motivation. They build routines. They follow a system. They show up whether they feel like it or not. That's why they walk with quiet confidence. That's why they perform under pressure. Because they've trained their mind to trust their own actions. You can do the same. Discipline makes you your own hero. You no longer need outside motivation. You no longer seek approval. You simply do the work. And in doing so, you discover something powerful. I can depend on myself. That's how confidence is born, not in comfort, not in motivation, but in showing up again and again, especially when it's hard. So if you want to feel confident, start being disciplined. Your brain will sharpen, your habits will transform, and one day you'll look back and realize, I didn't need to feel confident to win. I just needed to keep going. Lesson 5. Discipline is the power to say no. In the journey of success, the word no is more powerful than yes. Motivation often tells us to go after everything that feels good, everything that excites us. But discipline, it trains us to say no. No to distractions, no to temptations, no to shortcuts. This lesson is about the incredible power of self-denial and why learning to say no shapes a strong, focused, and successful mind. 1. The illusion of options. Every day we are bombarded with options. Entertainment, social media, snacks, gossip, procrastination. Motivation may give us temporary energy to avoid these, but only discipline gives us the consistency to resist them day after day. Successful people don't just choose what to do, they also choose what not to do. Think of Steve Jobs. One of his biggest strengths wasn't doing more. It was doing less. He once said, "Focus is about saying no." That's discipline. It's having clarity on your goals and filtering out anything that doesn't serve them. 2. The distraction trap. Distractions are designed to feel urgent and important. They steal our attention without warning. But discipline is like a bodyguard for your time. It stands at the door of your mind and refuses entry to anything unimportant. Let's say you sit down to study or build your business. A notification pops up. Motivation might say, check it quickly and then return. But discipline will say, not now. This is my time to grow. Saying no to the small things helps you say yes to the big future. 3. Instant gratification versus long-term vision. We live in a world where everything is instant: food, messages, entertainment. But success is never instant. It comes from delayed gratification. Discipline is the muscle that helps you wait. It helps you avoid what's easy now so you can have what's great later. A motivated person might exercise for a few days. A disciplined person will say no to junk food for years. A motivated person might start a project. A disciplined one will finish it. Every time you say no to momentary pleasure, you say yes to your purpose. 4. Learning to say no to people. This is the hard part. Saying no to people you care about. Friends may invite you to parties, family may expect your time, others may demand your attention. Motivation may not be strong enough to resist these moments, but discipline stands on principle. It understands that your goals are your responsibility. Saying no doesn't mean being rude. It means being clear. You're not rejecting people, you're choosing yourself. Real friends will understand. And the ones who don't, they were never helping your growth anyway. 5. Saying no builds mental strength. Every no you say strengthens your willpower. It builds a habit of prioritizing what matters. It teaches your brain that not every desire needs to be satisfied. Just like lifting weights strengthens your body, denying distractions strengthens your mind. You become sharper, stronger, and more focused. You feel proud of your decisions. You stop being controlled by feelings and start living with intention. Discipline is not just about waking up early or sticking to routines. It's about refusing to be pulled in 100 directions. It's about knowing what matters most and having the strength to say no to everything else. Success doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right things consistently. And the first step to that is saying no to the wrong things. Your future is built not just by what you do, but by what you avoid. That's the power of discipline. Lesson 6. Build systems, not just goals. Have you ever set a goal with great excitement, only to abandon it weeks or even days later? You're not alone. Most people rely too heavily on motivation to keep going. But motivation fades. Some mornings, you just won't feel like doing the hard work. And this is exactly where systems come in. Systems are what keep you on track when motivation disappears. Discipline is not just about pushing through pain. It's about creating an environment of success. A repeatable system that makes success automatic. Today's powerful lesson will show you how to build such systems. Let's get deep. What are systems? A system is a consistent process or structure that you follow every day, regardless of how you feel. A goal says, I want to lose 10 kilograms. A system says, I go to the gym at 6 a.m. and eat clean every day. Systems don't wait for inspiration. They build momentum. They're action-based, not emotion-based. Let's look at why they matter and how you can use them to transform your life. Why systems beat goals. Every time. 1. Goals are momentary. Systems are lifelong. A goal is a finish line. A system is a lifestyle. People who rely on goals often stop once they achieve them. But if you build a system, you keep growing, even after the goal is achieved. 2. Goals need motivation. Systems run on discipline. Goals depend on your mood. Systems depend on your habits. When you train your body and brain to follow a system, you don't need to be in the mood to act. You act because it's who you are now. 3. Systems protect you from failure. If you fail to meet a goal, you feel like a failure. But if you follow your system every day, you're already winning. Progress becomes your identity. Examples of systems that create massive success. Writers who write 500 words every day, even on bad days. Athletes who train at fixed times, no matter how they feel. Entrepreneurs who follow a strict morning routine and daily business planning system. They don't just hope for results. They build their lives around actions that guarantee results. How to build your own powerful system. step by step. Step 1. Define your identity. Don't say, I want to write a book. Say, I'm a writer. Your system should reflect the person you want to become. Step 2. Create a small, repeatable action. Big goals look exciting, but they overwhelm you. A simple system, like write one paragraph every day, is small enough to start and strong enough to grow. Step 3. Fix a time and environment. Discipline is easier when it's tied to a schedule in place. Decide when and where you'll do your task every day. Make it automatic. Step 4. Track your system, not your goal. Use a habit tracker, journal, or calendar. Track whether you followed the system, not whether you hit the result. Consistency leads to the result automatically. Step 5. Make it enjoyable. Even the hardest system can become bearable if you link it with something you love. For example, listen to your favorite music only while working out. That becomes your trigger. Real-life proof. James Clear's Atomic Habits. Author James Clear didn't become a best-selling writer overnight. He built a system. Write 2 articles per week, every week. No skipping, no excuses. Over time, his website exploded. His book sold millions. Not because of one big goal, but because of thousands of small actions. Stop chasing goals without a plan. Build the engine that drives you every single day. That engine is your system, fueled by discipline, not emotion. Even if you're tired, even if you're sad, even if you're unsure, if your system is in place, you will grow. Discipline isn't about pushing harder, it's about building smarter, because in the long run, systems always beat motivation. Lesson 7. Discipline builds true confidence, not motivation. Most people think confidence is about personality, looks, or talent. But that's not true. Real confidence comes from knowing, I can handle hard things. That belief doesn't grow in one day. It grows from discipline, from showing up when it's hard, from choosing the difficult path every single day. It doesn't come from saying, I will try, but from proving to yourself over and over that you can. Motivation says, I hope I can. Discipline says, I already have. The hidden enemy of confidence. Inconsistency. When you rely only on motivation, you do things only when you feel like it. Some days you study, some days you skip. Some days you wake up early, other days you sleep in. That inconsistency kills your belief in yourself. Every time you break your promise to yourself, your brain says, you say many things, but you don't really follow through. And slowly, your confidence fades. You stop believing in yourself, not because you aren't capable, but because you haven't trained your brain to trust your own actions. Discipline creates small daily wins. Discipline doesn't need applause. It builds silently. It says, I don't want to, but I will. It's raining, I'll still go for the run. I'm tired, but I'll complete this task. Each time you choose the hard thing, you earn a tiny win. These small wins add up, and your brain says, wow, I did it again. I am capable. That's how unshakable confidence is born, not from loud speeches or temporary excitement, but from quiet consistency. Confidence is earned, not given. Look at the most successful people. Athletes, artists, entrepreneurs. Their confidence is not fake. It's not just a mask. They've earned it by doing things most people avoid. They've worked in silence, failed, kept going, fallen, stood up, and repeated the cycle 100 times. They know what they are made of, because discipline tested them, and they passed. A simple practice for you. Start with just one thing that challenges you. It could be waking up at 6 a.m. every day for a week. studying for 30 minutes without distraction, going for a walk even when you're tired. Do it daily, not when you feel like it. And watch how your self-belief grows, slowly and silently. Motivation is loud, colorful, and emotional, but it disappears. Discipline is quiet. It whispers, just do it. And over time, that whisper becomes your strongest voice. If you want to feel powerful, you don't need more excitement. You need more discipline. That's how you become unshakably confident. Lesson 8. Discipline builds mental toughness, not emotion. In the final and perhaps most powerful lesson, we uncover a truth that separates dreamers from doers. Discipline builds mental toughness, not motivation. Motivation is a spark. It feels good. It makes you imagine success. But discipline? That's the fire that keeps burning when everything goes dark. When you're tired, when no one is clapping for you, and when the dream looks far away. This lesson will show how mental strength is the byproduct of disciplined actions, not emotional highs. 1. Why mental toughness matters more than feelings. Most people quit not because they're weak, but because they rely on feelings. They want to feel inspired. But feelings change. What doesn't change is the power of a decision backed by discipline. When your body says stop, your mind must say go, and only discipline trains that mind. Ask yourself, are you building strength or chasing comfort? 2. Discipline is a repetition of control. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about self-control. The daily practice of choosing what's right over what's easy. When you wake up early every day, when you choose reading over scrolling, when you run in the rain, when you work without praise, these are reps in your mental gym. Every small act of control builds your mental muscles. 3. When you don't feel like it, that's when it matters most. Anyone can work hard when they're excited. But what about when you're exhausted? When you're discouraged? That's where the gap is created. Between average and excellent. Between hopeful and legendary. The discipline to move forward without motivation is what builds unshakable mental power. 4. Daily discomfort is a choice of champions. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from facing small discomforts daily. Waking early, saying no to junk, staying silent when you want to react, showing up when nobody notices. These small battles shape your mental armor. Discipline teaches you to lean into discomfort instead of running from it. 5. Turn self-discipline into identity. The ultimate level is not just doing disciplined actions. It's becoming a disciplined person. When you no longer say, I need to wake up early, but I'm the kind of person who rises early, you've shifted your identity. Your discipline is no longer a task, it's who you are. That identity creates an unbreakable mindset. 6. Discipline doesn't give you results instantly. It gives you power forever. Motivation might give you a boost for a day, but discipline gives you power for a lifetime. You become reliable. You trust yourself. Others trust you. You start completing what you start. You no longer need external rewards because your internal compass is strong. That's real success, not just achievement, but control of your life. The strongest people are not always the most talented or the smartest. They are the most disciplined. They show up on bad days. They work quietly. They rise when others quit. Discipline gives them mental strength, the power to stay focused, the power to resist temptation, the power to win even without applause. If you want to win at life, stop chasing motivation. Start building discipline. Now it's your turn. Which choice will you make today? Comfort or control? Emotions or excellence? Remember, motivation feels good for a moment. Discipline makes you unstoppable for life. If you found this lesson helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We upload powerful lessons every day to help you grow, think better, and achieve more.